To be Sacramento's next mayor is well underway. As you know, this comes after the city's current mayor, of course, Darrell Steinberg, announced last month that he will not be seeking a third term. Thanks for joining us tonight for Fox 40 News at 6:30. I'm Eric Harriman.
And I'm Nikki Lorenzo. So the filing deadline for the candidates to enter the race isn't until December, but already several people have announced their candidacy. So we're going to take you through the timeline right now. The first person to enter the race, you see her there on the screen right now, Dr. Flojanne Coffer. She became the first candidate to throw her name in the race back in April. The epidemiologist was most recently involved in city politics by leading the Citizens Advisory Committee. Then prosecutor Maggie Krell entered the race. Krell serves as a special advisor to the California Attorney General. State Assembly member Kevin McCarty announced his run for mayor as well. Before serving in the state legislature, McCarty was a member of the Sacramento City Council, and former City Council member Steve Hansen also launching his campaign. He served 8 years on the City Council representing neighborhoods, including Land Park. So we went through the timeline of the candidates who entered the race. And joining us now in studio, we have Maggie Krell, the second person to enter the race to be the next mayor of Sacramento. Appreciate you joining us this evening and giving us some time.
Hi, Nikki. Thanks so much for having me.
Okay, so here, I just want to start out with just the general question that I ask every person who's running for office. Why do you want to be mayor?
Thanks so much for asking that. I love this city. This has been my home for more than 20 years. It's where I've raised my kids. It's where I launched my career. And I think there's a lot we can do better here in Sacramento. I see life getting harder and harder, especially for working families. And I think it's time to make some changes. I have a really different background than anybody else who's running for mayor. In fact, there's never been a mayor like me in Sacramento. I do things a little bit differently. I have a different approach, and with my approach, I've managed to really make a difference on some very tough, intractable problems like sex trafficking, like access to reproductive health care. And that's the kind of difference that I want to make as mayor of Sacramento.
Yeah, and we were talking about the folks who have already entered, and a lot of their names are known. We have Kevin McCarty, who was a city council member, a member of the legislature. We also have Steve Hansen, who was a council member and involved in the business community. But you ticked off some of your resume there: prosecutor, deputy attorney general. You worked Planned Parenthood as a lawyer. You're also an author. You've done a lot of work in the space in terms of, you went to the border too, and we're helping reunite families that had gotten separated and made it into a migrant center. So do you feel like you have more of an uphill battle sort of getting your name out there and introducing yourself to the community?
Well, I think, everybody has different challenges when they run for office, for sure. And I'm glad that there's, quality candidates in this race. But I think voters will look around and they'll see and hear a lot of what they've heard before. And I think they'll want something different. And then they'll see me. Like you said, I'm someone who didn't make a big speech about migrants being separated at the border, but I got on a plane. I was one of the first lawyers to get into an actual detention center and reunite families, one step at a time, one family at a time. When it came to the sex trafficking, again, it was a really big, intractable problem that was overwhelming to a lot of people. I never set out to be a national champion for sex trafficking survivors, but I did it by seeking justice one case at a time, helping one victim at a time, making sure one survivor at a time had a safe place to sleep. So it's really this one step at a time, one person at a time approach that defines how I've been successful in my career, and it's why I'll be successful as the next mayor here.
And there are a lot of complex issues. I always say this to folks who are running for office at the city or county level. You are closest to the people. They can come to the meetings. They can have, voice their, grievances during public comment. You can't really walk into Washington, D.C. to your member of Congress or your senator and sort of air your grievances that way. But being mayor is complex. I mean, cities across the state right now are facing a lot of issues as you sort of come out of the pandemic and dealing with the business community and the resurgence, and also, the issue of affordability and homelessness. Was there a specific moment where you were like, you know what, I want to do this? Was there something specific where you said, I want to run for mayor?
Sure. I mean, it's hard to think of one moment because there's probably been more than one. But I really like that question because I think it's really a turning point that we've seen in Sacramento where it just seems to be getting tougher and tougher out there. I work at 1300 I Street where I'm a deputy attorney general. Just walking around the corner to 7-Eleven, it's challenging sometimes. There's There's tent camps, there's people who are suffering on our streets, there's people who are doing drugs right on our streets. This isn't acceptable. We can't continue to tolerate this. We've got to make some changes and do things better. I think that's really what's driving me into this.
And so how do you do something like that from the vantage point as mayor? Because we don't have a strong mayor in Sacramento. Some of the council can be a bit divided. I've talked about this at length with Mayor Steinberg. I mean, he ran on fixing homelessness, and the homeless crisis has sort of ballooned out of control in Sacramento. I mean, I can just say from my own personal perspective, I moved to Sacramento in 2016. Things are vastly different now, and it just seems like getting anything in motion has been just such an uphill battle because there's so many players involved. You have to have the partnership with the county, and there's no strong mayor. What is your take on that?
Sure, and you're right, Nikki. In fact, the Wall Street Journal said last week that California had spent $17 billion on homelessness without any results. We're seeing the same kind of big plans from good people and effective politicians fail one after another in cities up and down the state. And that's why I'm talking about this different approach. As a mayor, I will commit to getting one person off the street each week. Each week, one person.
How?
That might not seem like a lot. Well, let me finish.
I mean, one person. I mean, that's
that might
anyone
not
at home watching this right now will say, you know what? She sounds like she's got a plan. One person. I want to hear what she has to say.
One person, and it'll be different for each person, right? Because each person is out there for their own reasons. You know, maybe it's because of a lack of affordable housing. Maybe it's because of a drug addiction. Maybe it's because of trauma. Maybe it's because of a mental health illness. Maybe it's because of a lost job. It could be, you know, any of those things or all of those things together. And so you have to address those individual needs. But what I'm saying is, I will commit to getting one person off the street each week, and I will ask everyone else on the council to join me. I will ask everyone on the Board of Supervisors to join me. I will ask every elected official in this region, everyone who's been talking about homelessness and doing press conferences about homelessness and has big plans about homelessness, to join me in committing to getting one person off the street a week, and you will see a difference within a year.
So why do you think that this has been such a struggle to tackle this, for folks at the city level to get their arms around something like this? Because there's been, as you mentioned, it's been no shortage of money. We've thrown a lot of money at this without a lot of change.
Right. I mean, because I think there's been a lack of really implementation, and it has to be, like I'm saying, one step at a time, one person at a time. I mean, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? When you have these overwhelming, intractable problems, the way to solve it is one by one by one. I mean, it's what I did at the border when I was helping, you know, reunite the migrant families. It's what I focused on at Planned Parenthood when I was making sure each patient would be able to access the health care she needed, and all of us would, you know, have the freedom that we deserve. Same with the human trafficking as a deputy attorney general, just making sure that each case that we saw justice and each survivor got help. It has to be focused on that one individual rather than this big overview plan that doesn't get us anywhere.
What does your campaign look like? Are you going around door knocking? Are you meeting with voters? And if so, what are they telling you?
Yeah, I'm meeting with voters already. It's actually really refreshing to just go out there and talk to people. You know, people are really excited about my campaign. I, you know, already, you know, raised the maximum amount of money you're allowed to raise during this first period before June 30th. Lots of support from, you know, parents of kids that I've coached in basketball, coworkers from the Department of Justice, coworkers, you know, former colleagues from Planned Parenthood. So I'm getting a lot of support. I'm talking to voters. I'm active in the community. You know, I've been active in the community for 20 years, so that part isn't new. But people are excited about this city, and they want to be hopeful. This is still, you know, a land of possibility for so many of us, and I think people are excited to have a real vision and a person that they can rally around to really make some positive changes here.
I know you alluded to this in our conversation about the other folks that are running right now, but what separates you? If someone's watching right now and their minds aren't made up, you know, and still we have a while to go until the election, but what would you do to convince them to pick you over those folks who have already announced that they're running?
It's a great question, and I'm glad, again, that there's quality folks running for mayor. You know, I think a robust democracy favors a diverse field of candidates. But what separates me is my background. We don't have anyone with a background like mine. And my approach and my track record of making a difference on complex problems by taking them one by one, that's what separates me. Being a Deputy Attorney General, being someone who served as Chief Legal Counsel for Planned Parenthood, being someone who, like you said, reunited families at the border. These are really challenging issues. They're values that people here care about, and they're issues where I've made a real difference, a real tangible difference by working in the trenches one person at a time.
All right, Maggie Crown, candidate for mayor of Sacramento. I imagine this is one of many conversations we're going to have as we get closer to, I was talking about this today, I'm like, oh, the election is far. I'm like, oh, wait, we're less than a year out from the March primary. We're coming up on a year to the general election.
Right.
So time's marching on.
March 5th, 2024. Please mark your calendar.
All right, well, stay safe out on the campaign trail, and I look forward to our next conversation. Appreciate you coming in tonight.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Eric.